All right. So over the weekend, the Boston Celtics took on the Los Angeles Lakers. They came into the Garden. This was, I think, one of the most hyped up games in a very long time. It was the seventh most watched game in regular season NBA history. Celtics, I, I mean, they almost let it up. They had that little 2022 Celtics kind of thing creep in, but 111, 101. I think this game, for me, made me hate LeBron James so much fucking more than I did before and that I thought I could. But this isn't about me. DK, Bobby, what do you guys think of the game? Did it live up to the hype? How are you feeling about the way
You
this
go
game is
first.
playing right now? Somebody, please.
I mean, sorry. I thought Bobby had like a wry smile on his face, so I thought he was gonna crack a witticism, but he was just looking at us with his usual love.
Affection, yeah.
And affection, but I think it. I guess I would answer your question with a question. How annoyed have you been with them, like over the course of the season? Because we haven't really sort of moved on to the full Celtics conversation in the show's like schedule yet as a collective group. So, like, how
Yeah.
annoyed are you with coming in with them? Because when you talk about shades of 2022, there's shades of a few different iterations of this team that
Yeah,
is like
that's
coughing
literally
up.
where I
Yeah,
was going to
witticism
actually
now.
say
Are we
that.
doing a
Is
witticism?
it's
Go.
unbelievable how they have made the entire almost seems like full heel turn back to that same team because they do that same shit all over again, and it's like the same
Right.
thing from 2022 where they seem like I was listening to Bill Simmons earlier, and he said that the Celtics are like a 15-year-old child with ADHD because you just can't keep them focused. You just can't do it when they have a lead late in games. They just cannot do it, and it's the same things that's been creeping up.
They're like, here's what they are. I agree with him about the 15-year-old kid with ADHD. I would give it one metaphor further. I think they're a single woman in her 50s living alone that legitimately gets ghosts in her house, gets them exercised, but then casts horrible spells to get them back because she misses the attention. That's the like a more apt comparison, I think, because I'm like, we dealt with all these things. Like,
Right.
we literally won an NBA championship by dealing with all these things, by doing all the things in the opposite way that we're now doing them again. And it does really frustrate you that it seems like a choice with them for some reason. Is that my own bias
No.
showing? Maybe, but it genuinely does seem like a fucking choice that they make where they're like, no, 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 this is going to work this time. Don't worry. It's like they just keep going back to the well on this thing that doesn't fucking work. And like, listen, they won the game that you started
Yep.
off the conversation with. So, and it's like, but why was the overriding feeling? And tell me if you guys felt this too. Why was the overriding feeling I left this game with? Feel upset with them because they made me think what I thought was going to happen with these sort of surging Lakers post roster moves. Quite frankly, if we're being honest, old rival Luka Doncic, a guy we just saw in the finals, coming back to sort of haunt us on our worst possible rival you could ever go to, making them good. A
Yep.
ton of role players really playing above their contracts and position. We had to be the stop in that game. That's the context on the Lakers side. Also, do I like when the Lakers are good? On some level, I do. But I wasn't like emotionally prepared for it, right? Like, I wasn't emotionally prepared for like this happening again. I had sort of written them off, and I think you guys might have been in a similar situation also. So I'm like, okay, I will put my pants back on, but I need the Celtics to put their fucking pants back on too. Because I just had a conversation with Cedric fucking Maxwell on this show where I was like, it'd be nice if they just put it in the fucking hoop sometimes, right? And he was like, yeah. And I'm like, thank you for validating a thing that we've been smashing on this show since its iteration, where it's like, could we just be a little no nonsense, Cedric Maxwell, NBA great Celtics legend? Yeah, Dave. Yeah, you guys were right this whole time. Like, please just like finish at the rim. Go to the rim. You're the most athletic guy on the court. Don't make dumb mistakes down the stretch. Protect the ball.
God selection.
Be smart with the ball. Jaylen Brown doesn't need to dribble to his left into traffic. Why are we doing this again? shot selection is the same every time. It's like when you get addicted to just press and circle in NBA 2K1. You know, you're just like, well, I have Jason Kidd, so there's a chance it fucking goes in, and it just goes dry after a little bit, you know? So I don't know. It's this inability to turn the boat around that I think is the through line, right? Where it's just like, can we adjust? Because you guys always seem to be able to make adjustments in the wrong direction. And when you see the iceberg, it might be a good idea to steer away
what I
from
think
it.
the difference
you know?
is, though, is that Tatum and Brown are now at the level to where they can actually carry the team at times just playing iso ball. And I think that's where it gets to a point where they can do it now, right? Especially Tatum.
It's where it makes it
Tatum
worse.
has just reached another level with his game. His game is on another level.
Especially Tatum.
So I feel like that's where it is now. Is that like
I know.
Joe might turn it over to them at times, but I don't know.
The one kind of nice thing is that his shots are like prettier, and there's a more of an array of them. At like kind of like what closer, like obviously he's a 10 times better player than he was in his rookie year, but the thing he was doing his rookie year was like, the thing that kind of stood out to all of us was it was like, oh, he has the shot from like everywhere. Like he can just stretch over here and do this and stretch over here. And then there was a lot of decision-making issues. There was a lot of like kind of growing pains here and there, which is, I think, natural to think about. But you're right that he can like, I mean, I just think his efficiency, his takeover level has risen, which is was kind of the last piece of the puzzle. Like he's got his boost meter all the way up, you know, like NBA Jam style, 2 video game references in 5 minutes. But NBA Jam style, it's like, okay, he can press the 2 buttons and like go on fire now at a way more aggressive rate. So you don't blame him as much. And I do think it cools the frustration, or do you think it pisses you off more?
No, of course it pisses you off more.
Pisses me off more. No. Well, yeah.
Because you're like, oh, but you just did it.
Yeah. Well, the problem that I had with this entire the game, but obviously they won.
How spoiled
and that is something.
How spoiled
that
we're sitting here
did not
bitching about
do
it
in
in
2022 and 21. Like that was we were. I mean, they had a 20-point fourth quarter lead, and they got it down to what was it? Did they lose the lead in that game? Was it down to 2? I can't remember. I was so pissed. But I mean, again, they stopped the bleeding. They won by 10. But the thing I was most happy with is that this wasn't a night where the bench performed very well. Like Pritchard didn't have a great game points wise, but to stop the bleeding, it was Jaylen Brown that actually said what you said, DK. He just went to the rim. Like he just went to the fucking rim and see what happens. Now he missed three layups in the fourth quarter, and I wanted to kill myself. But aside from that, it was a great showing by him. We can't hear you, DK.
It was a great showing by Jaylen.
Yeah.
He seems
Sorry,
he seems
I pressed the wrong button.
to step his game up whenever he plays Luka. is my opinion. Whenever he plays Luka, he seems to go up another level. Yeah.
I love that.
Great. Luka plays for the Lakers.
What a turn that is.
I'm happy about that.
What a turn that is that Luka now plays for the Lakers. It's just
100%.
so I can't understate that enough that we have to play
hold on.
Luka Doncic against the Lakers.
We were right that he was going to look skinnier in the jersey too. We were right that he was legit going to just look skinnier immediately in the jersey and just be like, right. Like I think all of us said that. We were like, he's just going to get in shape down there. Like LeBron's been spending $1 million on his like left butt cheek for the last 12 years. That's why he can play like they just unfroze him from caveman times. Like he's going to teach Luka Doncic how to not be a fat slob, I imagine. And the two of them together it's pretty dynamic. Like, unfortunately, even LeBron at this age, he has across his career proven that he really only needs one other guy. If we're really being honest, he really only needs one other dude. And if you at all the times that he's won, it's when you just gave him one other guy that could just do the exact right thing. I think he has that with the kind of floor of the role players on the rest of the team, and I think Austin Reeves. So I think that we have our work cut out for us. Like we could see them if there's a path for both of us to the finals. I think that they have a huge Oklahoma City sized mountain to climb, which makes me feel really good. So when we get to playoff time, I'm going to be like, all right. So that's going to be my sort of bugbear. I'm going to be like, well, they still have to play fucking Shea, who's having an MVP season, and like is going to probably across a playoff series at the very least cancel out Luka, if not outright win. So then it's can that age LeBron beat the rest of that team? I don't think so. So, we'll see. But we have a similar problem over here, I think. So it might not be as scary of a mountain to climb, but to be honest, the Lakers' path to the playoffs looks a lot different than I thought it was going to look on March 12th. But so does the Celtics' path to the playoffs in a different way. So I don't know, it's sort of concerning either way. I think the likelihood of that matchup happening is pretty low on one side or the other, but I don't know if I'd love it if it happened. I think it'd be a little emotionally distressing.
Well, of course it would be emotionally distressing, but all the great series are. Like, you need the NBA is at its best when it's Boston versus LA. Always has been.
Yeah, it is.
We better.
Do we have Kristaps in this scenario?
Yeah, then we definitely take it.
Yes.
Okay, then I wouldn't be that worried about it. I wouldn't be that worried about it in that situation.